Hi, students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm broadcasting to you live from beautiful Budapest, Hungary, here in Central Europe. We're kicking off this week of live IELTS with speaking part 1. For the exam, of course, it's the same for both the general and the academic version. And if you are choosing the paper-based or the computer-based exam, the speaking is the same. In all cases, the speaking is a 12 to 15-minute face-to-face interview with an expert English speaker, usually a native English speaker who's trained by the IELTS to assess your speaking. Quick question for everyone. Hi, Claudia Rollo. Good to have you as a member. I haven't seen you in a while. Hi, Preeti. Hi, Haung. Good to see everybody else. Quick question for everyone to start the day off. What do the examiners look for to give you your mark for speaking? So what are the major or main components of what they look for? So in the speaking, what are the most important elements? Okay. Amrit says they're looking for coherence and complexity. Absolutely, Amrit. Those are key parts. Pachu says they're looking for fluency. Yes, that's important as well. Complexity is one of the main components, by the way. Lanthiu, you've got another one. Naturality, so how natural it is. Fluency is a part of natural speech as well. So complexity, how natural it is, and how coherent it is, so how accurate it is. Absolutely. Those are the three main. So when you go to your speaking, basically, the examiner has a marking sheet. And on that marking sheet, they have a lot of different points. But those points are all a part of one of three major groups. So coherent language, okay, complex language, and natural language. Okay, those are the three main elements that they are observing in your speech. Okay, so they're looking for how coherent you are, how complex you are, and how natural you are. All right, now in coherence, they're looking for, are you giving accurate, detailed answers to the specific questions? Okay, are you original? So if they ask about your favorite type of animal, and you start talking about birds and the animals in your country and the pets that you have at home, you're not going to get the best score because they're not asking you for that information. They're asking you about your favorite type of animal. So you have to specifically say, my favorite animal is the dog, the canine. I love it because I own one and they are man's best friend. They're very loyal to their owners, and I'm able to teach them tricks to entertain my friends and family. So you have to be very specific. So that's coherent language. Many students learn template phrases, and those will not be the best for high marks, okay? All right. Yeah, that's right. So Gur Kirat Singh is kind of asking an interesting question, and I see that Amrit's also wondering of this, like, do they actually mark you in real time? Gur Kirat, they do actually mark you in real time, so the examiner is scoring your speaking while you are talking to them, but they don't decide your band score immediately. They decide it after, and that's why they record you, because if they're not sure, then they listen to the recording, and oftentimes another examiner will listen to the recording, and the two scores from the two examiners have to match for your final band score. Okay, so that's how it works. But they are marking you, they are scoring you. So you have to be original, you have to be specific. Complex language means, can you use a variety of vocabulary and grammar to express yourself? So range of grammar and vocabulary to express yourself. Okay, now complex language can also include using expressions and idioms. Of course, don't use idioms if you're not 100% sure you're using them correctly. Incorrect idiom use is very confusing, and your score for coherence will go down. So if you use an idiom in the wrong context, it will send your score downwards because it's very incoherent when you use idioms incorrectly. So be really, really careful. Okay. Amir Jelly says, sir, can we use complex sentences? Absolutely, Amir. For those high band scores, you have to use complex sentences, adjective clauses, subordinate conjunctions, conditionals. So you have to use all those. All right. Natural language means fluency, pronunciation, intonation, enunciation, and word choice. Okay? So many students learn some words from videos like this on YouTube or from websites that say, oh, you should use this word and you will get a high band score. Yes, if you are using the word correctly. So I know one popular word I see many students, especially from India, using is plethora. Plethora this, plethora that, a plethora of reasons or a plethora of ideas, meaning many. And that's great, but you have to remember that a native speaker won't just use the word plethora all the time for any context. So using it once is okay, but definitely don't overuse it. All right? So careful with word choice. Try to copy the proper word choice in context. Pronunciation is not the most important. If I can understand what you say, you can still get a very high score, okay? If you have good coherent language, if you have good complex language, then it doesn't really matter if you have a strong pronunciation. If I can understand what you say, I will give you a very high score. In fact, I can even give you a band 9 if it's understandable, okay? All right, so these are the three, and they're not mutually exclusive. They're inclusive, okay? So complex language, having good grammar, good vocabulary, also helps coherent language. Of course, if you're using the appropriate grammar and vocabulary, it's easier to understand your communication, so you're more coherent and you're more natural, okay? So these three are kind of connected. Okay, these are all connected ideas. All right. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, today's lesson and materials come from our websites, aehelp.com for academic version of the exam. And if you want to check us out for the general module, check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's general IELTShelp.com. I'll just quickly show you what those websites look like when you search for us. This is our academic web portal. You can join our premium course by clicking that red button. And this is our general web portal with the green background, and you can click that red button to join us there. All right, if you have questions, students, about the IELTS and I can't get to it in the chat, obviously with well over 100 students in the stream and in the chat, it's hard to get to everybody's questions. You can send me an email, okay? Adrian, A-D-R-I-A-N, at aehelp.com, and we will do our best to get to your answer within 24 hours. All right, everyone. So again, remember, coherent language, complex language, natural language. That's what you want to work on. A very basic tip, okay, this is your first step to getting a high band score, is make sure to always focus on answering, explaining, giving an example, and then stop. Okay, so the most simple concept in your mind for high scores in the speaking should be answer plus explain plus example and then stop. Okay, don't keep talking. If you keep talking, you might go off topic. You might start to make mistakes with your vocabulary and your grammar, and then your score will go down. Okay. Munir Ahmed and a couple other students I see are asking me, how can I improve? What should I do when I practice at home? One of your best friends for improving your speaking score is your mobile phone. Okay, so use the recorder function on your mobile phone. Record your speaking. When you're using English, record yourself and then listen back. Okay, you can use software, free software, to go from speech to text. So you can convert your speaking to text. Once you have that, you can check the grammar with Microsoft Word or with Grammarly. Again, free software can do that for you. Then make corrections, record yourself again, and listen again. Okay? So that's how you can practice at home on your own. Of course, you can find speaking partners online as well. That's a really good idea. Often there are people looking for speaking partners in the chat or on our videos. So check those out. Okay. All right. Amrit says Grammarly helped me a lot. Absolutely, Amrit. It's a good piece of software. So again, just a quick second tip here for practicing at home. Record yourself on your phone. Convert speech to text. Okay, if you have a really heavy accent, it might be difficult to convert speech to text, but give it a shot. Google's quite good now, even with accents, okay? So record yourself, convert speech to text, check with Grammarly or other software, okay? And then make corrections and record again, okay? Then, as the last step, listen again. Listen and repeat. Okay, this is really, really good practice. To improve your pronunciation, your voice, your enunciation, watch movies in English and copy the speakers, repeat the speakers. Okay, so again, the steps: record yourself on your phone, convert speech to text, check your grammar with Grammarly or other software, make the corrections, read and record again, and then listen and repeat. Hopefully that's quite clear, okay? Khaled, follow these steps and you will improve. Now again, we are in a speaking class today, so make sure you repeat me as well, okay? When you hear me, don't just watch me. I'm not the latest Avengers movie, okay? I'm not Iron Man or I'm not Thor with my hammer. I'm not quite that entertaining. I'm here to help you improve. So make sure to repeat me as much as you can, okay? Repeat what I say. All right. So you get to your speaking exam, arrive early, at least half an hour, 45 minutes. Find someone there to warm up your English, take some questions with you, okay? Ask them. Don't be shy. Your time for confidence is during the IELTS exam. Remember, there's a saying in English, to the brave go the spoils. It means those people who are brave usually get the prize. Okay, so to the brave go the spoils. So be brave for your exam. Remember, the sun will shine tomorrow. Imagine the examiner is your grandfather or your grandmother. You're very respectable with them. You're very loud so they can hear you. And you're speaking in full sentences with clear examples. Grandma and grandpa, they don't know what you know, okay? They don't know about Facebook. They don't know about mobile phones. You need to explain your ideas very clearly to them, all right? Thank you, Kai Brix. I appreciate your compliment. All right, so you get to the exam, you get there early, you're confident, you find a speaking partner, you warm up your English. Never, never, ever go into the speaking exam cold, okay? Never go in cold. That's really bad. I hope that none of you ever play sports competitively on a team, a football team or a basketball team, where you start playing without any kind of stretching or warm-up. It's a really bad idea. You're going to hurt yourself, and you'll probably lose the game anyway, okay? So same idea with the brain, same idea in speaking. You never walk into a serious exam cold, okay? You warm up. You review your notes, you speak to other people, and you use as much English as possible, all right? Arun Kumar Lucky Malath. Yes, you should absolutely make an effort to make eye contact. Eye contact, body language is very powerful for enunciation, for clear speaking, okay? So you walk in, the examiner welcomes you. The examiner says, welcome to the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. May I see your passport or your identification, please? What should you say when they say that? Okay, be ready. That question is coming for sure. Haung says, yes, please, here you are. Yeah, that works. Claudio says, yes, certainly, here it is. Yeah. Again, make sure you practice your pronunciation and enunciation on that too, Haung and Claudio, okay? Amrit says, certainly, here you are. Please take a look. Very good, Amrit. Nice. Preeti says, yes, sir, have a look. Okay. Yes, have a look, sir. Yeah, that's okay, Preeti. I would put the sir after yes, but that's just me. Gurkarat says, here it is. Please have a look. Gurkarat, add a little bit more to be more polite. Harminder says, yes, of course, here it is. Very good. Okay, so have a clear way to say that. Make sure that you practice different ways so you don't sound like a robot. You sound natural. Okay, so yes, certainly. Here it is. Please take a look. Okay, great. So that will work. And again, students, remember, repeat. Don't just repeat the answers, students. Repeat the questions as well. All right, so when I say the questions, repeat those as well. Being familiar with the questions is just as important as being familiar with the answers, okay? So when you're practicing speaking, don't just practice answers, practice questions. When you're with a partner, make sure you keep switching, okay? Our Shaban score of 6.5 is great. Good job. I hope that meets your requirements. Good for you, and thank you for sharing your scores. By the way, students, we'd always love it when you come back and share your scores and your success stories with us. It motivates other students, and it confirms that what everybody is learning in these classes really works. And as long as you practice and implement, use it, you will get those scores. So Arshdeep, thank you for sharing. Great job, okay? Parth, thank you for sharing. A 6 is a solid score as well. Parth, a band score of 6 means you're a fluent user of English, and that's great, okay? It's a lot better than many people, so that's great. All right, so then after the examiner gets your ID and they look at you and they look at your ID and they look at you and they look at your ID and they check a box that says, yes, this is the right person, it's not a fake, then they go on to the next question, which is, what is your full name? So what is your full name? Have a really good answer for this one, okay? What is your full name? So make sure that you can answer this question really, really well. It's coming. Again, have some different ways of, oh, sorry, just a moment. I'll get you back. Have some different ways of answering that question. Okay, it's very important. Just dealing with a little bit of a technical issue here. Just give me a moment while you're writing some answers for that. And they'll ask you this question before they give you back the ID, because again, they're going to check your name to make sure that your name is the same on your ID as what you're telling them. So you should say your name the same way, and then of course give them your nickname. Okay, so give them your nickname as well and tell them what they should call you. Okay? It's very, very important. Just give me a moment here. I've lost your visual on my feedback screen, so it will take me a minute here. Just a moment. Okay, now I can see you. All right. Thank you for bearing with me. Okay, so let's see what you have so far. All right. So Preeti says, my surname is Sina, my given name is Preeti, please just call me Preeti. That's great, that works, okay? Dosh Telecom says, my full name is Ganey Alahverdieva, but you can just call me Gunka. Very good, that works, okay? That's a nice way to say it as well. Music Beat says, well, my last name is Verma and my first name is Sumesh, but you can refer to me as Sumesh. Okay, good. Okay, that's great. So those are different ways to respond. They all work. Make sure you're nice and fluent. Okay, that's very, very important that you say that fluently. Otherwise, they'll interrupt you, especially if it's long what you're saying. So my given name is Alexander, and my family name is Denver. Please call me Alex. Okay? So again, just repeat after me. My given name is Alexander and my family name is Denver. Please call me Alex. All right? So lots of different ways to say it. Practice a few different ways. Practice saying it quickly, smoothly, so you can get it out fast. Okay? Gurpreet, Chima, that's a little bit too long. It's a little bit unnatural. And then they'll ask you a couple more questions as icebreakers to make you feel comfortable. Okay, so to make you feel more comfortable. So the next question they might ask you is, where do you live? Okay, where do you live? What's a good answer for that? Khaled Al-Nur says, I live in Saudi Arabia, Taif City. It's a beautiful area and it's a bit cold. Okay, Khaled, that's good. Don't say any more than that, Khaled. Otherwise, you're going off topic. So I didn't ask about your city too much. So that's good detail. Stop right there. Don't say any more. So Khaled, very good. I live in Saudi Arabia, Taif City. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful area. It's a bit colder than other regions. Sure. Okay. Kent Haung says, I come from China. Okay, Kent, that's like me saying I come from Canada. And people are like, oh, it's a beautiful country. And I'm like, where? Up north where it's all ice, or down on the west coast in Victoria where it's a rainforest? So you have to be a bit more specific than that. Okay. Macpreet, hail is not a natural word there. We used that word in English about 500 years ago, so that would be awkward. So say, I come from, okay? I come from. It's much better. I hail from is awkward. It's Old English. It's like you're coming out of Game of Thrones or something, okay? So don't use that. Students, when you're learning speaking, be careful about the shows that you're watching. Game of Thrones, for example, might not be the best show to learn English because it's Old English. It's mythical English coming from the time of medieval ages, 1,000 years ago, so it's not the best to use. You should use modern contexts, okay? All right. So where do you live? I live in the beautiful garden city of Victoria, which is the capital of the province of British Columbia in Canada. Okay. So here's my answer. Again, repeat after me. I live in the beautiful garden city of Victoria, which is the capital of the province of British Columbia in Canada. When you have a question like, where do you live? It's a really good place to use the adjective clause which. Okay, so for example, if you're in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, you can say I'm living in Riyadh, which is the capital of Saudi Arabia. That shows an adjective clause right away, which is complex language and natural language. So your band score is being boosted by that adjective clause. So it's a good place to use an adjective clause for this question. Where do you live? Okay, all right. And then comes your next question. What do you like to do in your free time? Okay, think about a good answer for this one. It's a very common icebreaker. So what do you like to do in your leisure time? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do in your free time? It's all kind of the same question. Again, make sure you have some good answers for that. Okay. Arpan Patel says, well, usually I do many things in my free time, but I can say that usually I prefer to go out and spend time with my friends. Arpan, you're using about 30 words to say what you can say in just 10 words unnecessarily. So Arpan, you can say, in my free time, I like to hang out with friends. You'll get a much better score for that. Okay, so again, Arpan, I'm going to use your example here. You can get a much better score if you say, in my leisure time, I like to hang out with my friends and go to a coffee shop or play a game of football. You'll get a much better score for that than if you say, well, usually I do many things in my free time, but I can say that I usually prefer to go out and spend time with my friends. It's not natural. It sounds like you memorized that, and it's awkward. The grammar's awkward, and it's unnecessary communication. So careful with that, students. Arpan, I'm not picking on you. Many students do that, and it's better to avoid it. Okay? It's better to be more direct and more specific. All right? Okay, let's see what else we have. Revit Learn says, well, that went really fast. Just a sec, Revit. I'm going to get back to yours here in a moment once I find it. I think it's gone, Revit. Oh, no, there it is. So Revit Learn says, I'm into listening to music. Okay, just a second. I've lost my screen again. I'm going to try to fix that. Okay. Just a moment, students. So here, what you want to do, Revit, is you want to use the question. Okay? So you really, really want to use the question. So you do need to say that in my free time or in my leisure time. That should start your sentence. In everyday conversation, when we're talking to our friends, we usually don't use the question. So we usually just give the answer like, I play sports like football or basketball. But in the IELTS exam, it is much, much better to use the question. It gives complexity to your answer and it makes it more coherent. Okay? So you need to include that in your answer. Let me just show you real quick what I mean. So here, I want to paraphrase free time with leisure time. In my leisure time, I like to hang out with my friends, go to the movies, or enjoy a game of football. Just yesterday, I saw the latest Godzilla blockbuster. Okay? This type of answer will get you a high score. Okay? So in my leisure time, paraphrases free time. I like to hang out with my friends. Right away, I'm answering the question. So again, paraphrase, answer, explanation, go to the movies and enjoy a game of football, and a smooth example. Just yesterday, I saw the latest Godzilla blockbuster. So again, in my leisure time, I like to hang out with my friends, go to the movies, or enjoy a game of football. Just yesterday, I saw the latest Godzilla blockbuster. I'm using a phrasal verb. Hang out means spend time with them. Okay? So it's got all of what you need to get those high band scores, including natural language, complex language, and coherent language. So when you answer the question in this way, the examiner is looking at their sheet and they're going, okay, that's good, that's good, that's good, and they will give you some nice high band scores. All right? That's what they're paying attention to. So that's what you need to do. Okay? You need to repeat and pay attention to those elements. All right. Now, when they're done with that, then they will introduce to you the topic of part 1. And for part 1, they will say something like, let's talk about movies. Okay? Herbert, yes, absolutely you can use examples, and you should, especially in part 1 speaking. You'll notice, students, that in part 1 speaking, the questions are directly asking about your life. So, what do you watch? What are your favorite movies? So you should give examples because it's your life. In part 3, it's a little bit different, but we'll talk about that one in another class. So here, they'll say, okay, let's talk about movies. How often do you watch a movie? All right, students, here we go. Answer that question, and I'll try to catch a few of the previous responses. So how often do you watch movies? Okay, now for a couple of the previous ones, Rijan Bhattari says, in my free time, I like painting, watching movies with my friends, and traveling. Just last week, I hopped over to Bangladesh for a safari. That would be a high-level answer. Naveed, okay, you're answering this question. That's great. Naveed says, I often watch movies on weekends with my family and friends. Great. Yeah, that works, Naveed. Parth says, I'm not watching movies regularly, but on the weekends, I sometimes watch television and I will go to the theater with my friends. Parth, careful with your grammar. You don't need so many words. Amrit, really nice quantitative language. Amrit Bogan says, I like to watch 2 or 3 movies in a month. Just last month, my cousin and I were amazed by the movie Aladdin. Very good, Amrit. So you're using quantitative language. Good example. Haung says, I usually watch movies twice a month in my leisure time. I just saw, and throw in a quick example. Okay, great. Students, when you see the word often in the question, or when you hear the word often, that's looking for adverbs of manner. Okay, adverbs of manner. Adverbs of frequency. Okay, so you're looking for adverbs of frequency with often. So adverbs of frequency, practice using these, are always, often or usually, sometimes, rarely, never. Okay, now when you do that, always give some quantitative information. So always include like 2 times, 3 times, 10 times, because we don't know exactly what you mean when you say often or usually. If the question is often, it's better to use the word frequently. So paraphrase with the word frequently. Okay. So add numbers. Okay, 1, 2, 10, 20. I'll show you an example of what I mean. So I frequently catch a flick on TV or at the movies. I'd say at least 3 to 4 times a week. As I mentioned, I just saw Godzilla. Okay, so that's your Band 9 response in the questions here. Notice how in the icebreaker I said I enjoy going to the movies or a game of football. Yesterday I saw Godzilla, the blockbuster, which is a movie. So here, when the examiner says, let's talk about movies, I can connect that. So when they say or ask, how often do you watch a movie? I can answer, I frequently catch a flick on TV or at the theater. I'd say at least 3 to 4 times a week. As I mentioned, I just saw Godzilla. Okay, so that would be your Band 9 answer. Connect your ideas whenever you can. All right, so I made a good connection here. I'd say as a contraction, I would say, okay, at least 3 to 4 times a week. I'm using quantitative language, numbers, 3 to 4 times a week, okay? And I'm paraphrasing. Instead of saying often, I say I frequently. Instead of saying watch a movie, I say catch a flick. Okay, so that's a nice expression there. All right? Okay, students, next question. What is your favorite movie and why? What is your favorite movie and why? Now, they might not ask you the why. You should include that. Brown Jesus, you can get attention to your question by just responding. There's over 200 students in here. I will try to catch different students every time, I promise, okay? Doing my best. All right. So, Vivek, to the previous question, says, well, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of movies, but I guess if I had to choose, I'd say that I like classic movies. Vivek, you're not specifically answering the question, so your coherency score goes down. Okay, I'm asking you about your favorite movie. So if you have a classic movie that you really love, choose it and go with it. Okay, so if your favorite movie of all time is Gone with the Wind, then say, my favorite movie of all time is Gone with the Wind. It's a classic. I'm into classics. I like this movie because it tells a beautiful story about a man and woman who fall in love and have to survive a difficult situation. Okay. Parth says, my favorite movie is Three Idiots because it's all about the life of an engineering student, and it has a good story based on teaching the skill of engineering in college. Parth, that's a great answer. Okay. Amrit says, my favorite movie is Aladdin. As I just mentioned, this is the one that I saw in the theater. I was astonished by the visual effects, the story, and the characters. Amrit, very good answer. Again, a high band score. Okay. Tina says, as I mentioned, I usually watch movies at least 3 times a week on nights. Last night, I watched an action movie called The Last Ship. Personally, I like it as it portrays the character Admiral Chandler. Tina, your start is very good. The end of it needs to be a little bit different. Remember, you're talking about your favorite movie, the one you love the most. Hung says, my favorite movie is I, Robot because the movie shows the future in 2004 and it gave me much to think about how people will ethically behave with intelligent machines. Hung, again, good start. Had to do a little correction near the end there. Okay. All right. My favorite movie of all time is Shawshank Redemption. It is about a man who is falsely accused of murder and must survive a very difficult jail environment from which he eventually escapes. Okay, so that's my favorite movie. Repeat after me. My favorite movie of all time is Shawshank Redemption. It is about a man who is falsely accused of murder and must survive a very difficult jail environment from which he eventually escapes. Okay, so why am I getting some good points for this? It's natural, it's complex, it's specific to the question. So my favorite movie of all time, right away, I'm using the question in my answer, okay? I give a bit of explanation of why I like it, what it's about. It's about a man who is falsely accused of murder. Look at the adjective clause, who is falsely accused of murder and must survive a very difficult jail environment from which he eventually escapes. I might add a little bit more. I love this movie because it is about a man who rises above injustice. Okay, so there is my reason for why I truly love this movie. Okay, so again, always students think about answer, explain, example. Okay, answer, explain, example. That's really the key to pushing those high IELTS band scores. All right. Now, the next question. Here we go. Who is your favorite actor or actress? Why? If you don't have a favorite actor or actress, don't try to think for a long time. Just pick one. Pick an actor or an actress that you know well and give a quick answer and explain why. So try this question, students. Who is your favorite actor or actress? This is the next question. Who is your favorite actor or actress? Try this one. Okay? Again, answer, explain, example. Okay, Claudio says, as I have previously mentioned, Leonardo DiCaprio is my favorite actor. I believe he has great acting skills. He's natural and always manages to impersonate his characters. Claudio, that's a really nice answer. I love your use of the word impersonate or bring his characters to life. Yeah, absolutely. Leonardo DiCaprio is an incredible actor. I agree with you. Okay. Music Beat says, my favorite actor is Akshay Kumar because of his movie-based and social issues with public toilet. I'm not sure what you mean there, Music Beats. Make sure, students, that when you give an answer, your examiner, your audience, can understand what you're talking about. If you talk about an actor and actress and some famous situation that the examiner doesn't know, it's not going to be coherent. It will be very difficult for them to understand that. Okay? Rehan says, my most beloved actor is Will Smith, not only because he's one of the best actors of all time, but he is active in helping unfortunate people. That is really good, Rehan. Rehan, I would add a little bit to that. So I would say every year he donates $1 million to charity. So give a little bit of quantitative information, okay, whenever you can. So my most beloved actor whom I deeply admire is Brad Pitt. He is not only extremely talented, but he is also very dynamic. This is why he is a character in both action and drama films. Okay, so again, repeat after me. Who is your favorite actor or actress? Why? My most beloved actor, whom I deeply admire, is Brad Pitt. He is not only extremely talented, but he is also very dynamic. This is why he is a character in both action and drama films. Okay, so what am I doing here that's really useful? Correlative conjunctions, not only, but also. Vocabulary, talented. Of course, that's a word that would come in really handy for this question. Okay, talented. This is why he is a character in both action and drama films. All right, so further explanation, and here is again an adjective clause for the object, whom I deeply admire, is Brad Pitt. Okay, so there we go. Dynamic, Kulwant Singh. Dynamic means that he can play in different roles. So he has the ability to be different kinds of characters or different genres, not just action. Okay. All right. Preeti says, my favorite actor is Akshay Kumar because he is not only motivational for millions of men and women, for a strict regime exercise, but he also contributes to charity and is a soldier of goodwill in my country. Preeti, that's great. I did some correction there, so pay attention to that. All right, and then here we have some more questions. Okay, so the examiner will ask you a few more questions before going on to part 2. So, where do you enjoy watching movies? Why? Has the way you watch films changed in the last 10 years? If you could make a movie, what would it be about? Students, these questions I'd like you to answer on your own at home. Record it on your phone. Send it to my email, and I will give you a score estimate. I will let you know if you would get a band 6, 7, 8, more or less. Okay, my email is Adrian, Adrian, at aehelp.com. So send me your recordings there, and I will gladly give you a score estimate. Check us out on our websites. Again, join our premium package. We have lots of videos, original practice exams, fully interactive tests for your phone, lots and lots of help to get those high band scores on the exam. aehelp.com for academic, IELTS, GIELTS, help.com for the general. This is the general website here with the green background. Click there. It's GIELTShelp.com. And this is our academic version of the website with the blue background. Click that red button to join us there. Okay, once you have it, you can log into your My Student account, and in your My Student account, you will find lots and lots of goodies in these tabs, including practice exams, full course, curriculum books, lesson videos, audio CDs, so lots and lots there for you. Tomorrow, students, we will be having a Task 2 class, so Task 2 writing, followed by a reading class. So make sure to tune in to tomorrow's class for Task 2 writing example, followed by a reading example. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I hope to see you tomorrow. Make sure to practice. Definitely find a speaking partner if you don't have one yet. And remember to practice. Exercise that beautiful brain of yours. Much love to all of you. Bye for now.